She's a live wire.
Young, dynamic, energetic.
Committed individual.
She's one person who doesn't take no for an answer.
Very focused woman.
4 years ago, a young banker was poised to take the banking world by storm, but her heart wasn't in it. Instead, it lay with young girls across the country who needed motivation, guidance, and a helping hand to prepare them for a successful future. 33-year-old Gqibelo left the banking world to find her heart, and with that, the future of the African Daughter organization was born.
I am running an organization called the Future of the African Daughter Project. I'm also one of the founders of this organization. And really, it's a girl-child development project where we work with girls aged between 12 and 19, which is approximately grade 8 to grade 12. And these are girls who live in rural areas or in the townships, and they attend school there as well. In university, I actually studied a Bachelor of Business Science, which is a commerce degree, and I did finance honors and economics undergrad. And after that, I went and I joined Nedbank. And I was in the banking world for 4 years. I was at Nedbank for 2 years, and then I moved across to Barclays Bank, where I was part of the investment banking team there. Right now, we've got a huge ABSA capital, and I can safely say that I was part of the first team of 3 people. You know, that was at that time the capital, which is what it is today. So that kind of afforded me amazing opportunities to really grow.
I worked with Gqibelo. She was my assistant. I was the director. At one of the international banks, and what we did, the point was to cover investment banking origination clients within South Africa and beyond the borders as well. And in one particular instance, I recall we had to turn around our deliverables to London within a short space of time. And Gqibelo was up for the challenge. As a young lady, she worked overnight, and the morning after we were able to actually meet our deadlines. That level of commitment you don't always get. She was at a peak. If you looked at the growth levels and the way she was excelling, indeed it was at a point where she, I think at that point in time, would have ratcheted herself to high levels within the financial industry. But she felt she wanted to do something else, and I respected her.
When I look back on it now, I'm actually grateful that I chose that. Because although I'm not using it directly, it affects a lot of the thinking with the work that we are doing right now. I don't have a social anything in terms of training, but I've always been passionate about youth development. I was a Sunday school teacher, I was a youth group leader in my church at some point, and banking was not quite filling that for me. And I felt that I needed to get to a space or a place where I could fulfill that passion.
She's very passionate about social justice, and especially about the education of girls and the well-being of girls. And that's how she started FOTAD. It was because she woke up one day and realized that she is in a privileged position because she was a banker before this. And she also realized that in the environment that she was in, she was one of very few black females in that environment. And she thought there are so many black women in South Africa and black girls, and how come they're not in the same environment that she's in?
Gqibelo, with her financial background, it helped us a lot because she can crack the figures and make sure that the budget that we're talking about, it makes sense at the end of the day for the project to be able to be sustainable.
I'll never forget someone saying to me in particular that, Gqibelo, the banking charter is about to be set up. We're going to be looking for young, intelligent women like yourself, capable young women who are really going to take the banking industry by storm and really be part of the new generation of young bankers who are going to come through. To which I said, one, I was disappointed with that response, but more than anything, the question we always asked ourselves and asked people who are doubting us was, if we don't do what we want to do, who's going to do it?
Gqibelo is also a motivational speaker and a former radio jock for a commercial radio station. Her speaking talent stems from her family that has great influence in her life.
I come from a long line of priests and teachers. If you look at who I am relative to them, you know, same mold, different color. My home. I know I'm boring. I love hanging out at home on the couch in front of the TV with no laptop near me, doing nothing, watching these mindless reality shows. I cook very well. To have Michelle Obama, who was here last year, making special mention of the work of the Future of the African Daughter Project and mention me because of that.
Take Ibelo Dandala from here in South Africa. She left a lucrative career in investment banking to found the Future of the African Daughter Project, an organization that lifts up young women in rural and township areas. Of her work, she says, "We are building a legacy which will outlive and outgrow us."